Hey angels, welcome back to Touched by Ty Hair Co. Want to know how I achieved this look? Stay tuned. Hey angels, welcome back to Touched by Ty Hair Co, where you clicked on this video because you definitely wanted to get into this beat. So let's get into it. This is my cousin Tamia. You can follow her at Mia the Vibe. Okay, I'm not gonna try to talk a lot. Okay, because I be feeling like I talk too much. Okay, so I'm trying to cut out some of the talking, but yeah, just watch the video. This is a look and learn. Everything is kind of self-explanatory. As you guys know, I'm very new to doing makeup artistry. I actually love it. Nothing is perfect. Makeup is art. Take your time and just trust the process, okay? Because you'll see her looking crazy a lot of times throughout this video. But trust the process, all right? All right. Okay, so after filling in her brows, you see me going in here with my Nika K Full Coverage Concealer. I believe this was the shade 01, and my Morphe Angle Brush to start to shape out her eyebrows. Okay, so this little blending brush, this smudge brush that you see me using, it's made by Crown Cosmetics. For her eyeshadow base, I use the same concealer that I used to carve out her brow bone. So that's, I believe, Nika K Full Coverage in the shade 01 as well. For the top of her brow to finish the shaping, I use the same angled Morphe brush, the same Crown Cosmetics smudge brush, and I went in with the shade 03. 03 was a little light, so I had to deepen it. It was too bright. I did not want to have a halo eye, so I went in with something more like her skin tone, which ended up being a 04. To set her eyeshadow base and brighten up her eyebrows, I went in with the RK by Kiss setting powder, HD setting powder, in the color Transparent. For her eyeshadow look, we're doing a naked beat today. Very natural, but very clean, all right? Very angel-like, okay? Very airbrush, giving very much just flawless, all right? So I am using the Profusion palette in Marigold, and this particular palette does not have shade names, so I'm going to point out everything that I use for you guys, okay? So here I'm going in with a deeper, like auburn purple brown color using a dense eyeshadow brush, and I'm just blending, blending, blending. Now I'm going back in with that transition shade, I'm sorry, and I'm blending that out, making sure not to have any harsh lines, just making everything nice and smooth and blended, seamless coverage. To line her lash line, I'm going in with this Profusion Everlasting Liquid Liner. To set that liquid liner, I used the black eyeshadow from the Profusion Starlit palette along with a flat eyeliner brush. To prime her face, I'm using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with this Real Technique priming brush. For her foundation color, I had to create her color. I mixed for her foundations, I used the Nika K Full Coverage Foundation in the shade 3 and 4. As you all know, my technique remains the same. I apply with a brush or an applicator. I buff with a dense foundation brush, and then I go in and I blend with a Real Techniques beauty blender that is damp, okay? Make sure your beauty blender is damp. That way it just helps the liquid, whether it's foundation or concealer, just set into the skin. Y'all, she looks really, really light because we were under like bright lights, but this really was a perfect match for her. Now I'm just beating that product into the skin using my Damp Real Techniques beauty blender. For her highlight, I used the Nika K Full Coverage Concealer in the shade, I believe this was 02. I'm gonna show it here in a second. She looking like Michael Jackson, super light. Trust the process, guys. Trust the process, okay? To develop her contour, create some definition in the face, I'm going in using the Nika K Full Coverage Concealer in the shade, I believe this was 05. I showed it, I'm not sure, I did it so fast. But, so for highlighting the face, you want to use a concealer that's at least 2 to 3 shades lighter than the skin. To contour or deepen up the face, you want to use a shade 2 to 3 shades darker. I'm not even going to say 3 because 3 might be too dark. But depending on how defined the cuts that you're trying to create in the face, the depth that you're trying to give your client, you may want to go 3 shades darker. You just have to really, really, really blend it out. So for her contour, when I set her contour, I'm going to use a very deep contour powder shade. Now I'm going in to set her highlight. I'm using the LA Girl pressed powder in this shade Classic Nude. And I set all the highlighted areas in her face. So that's her under eye, her forehead, brow area, down to the bridge of her nose and her chin. To set the remaining of her face, I'm going to go in with a pressed powder the same color as her skin tone. Okay, so I believe this was in, I don't know what color this was. It was the same pressed powder, LA Girl pressed powder. I believe this was beige. And I set the remaining areas of her face. So everywhere except for her highlighted areas, I'm going to set in this. Setting the face is very important. I learned this step throughout watching and just educating myself. Setting the face, you have to set the face. You have to set that liquid in place so that it doesn't move. Now I'm going in and I'm building her contour, okay? To build her contour, I'm using the RK by Kiss contour palette in the shade medium dark. And I'm using this for her contour and to just bring some color back into her face. I use the second to the darkest shade for her in this palette. To define that contour, I go in with the darkest shade because I really wanted to give her a chiseled cheekbone. As you can see here, she already has a natural defined face. I just wanted it to be like baby doll, okay? Bratz, Barbie. All right, so with doing that though, you have to be careful because you got to make sure that you really blend. You don't want harsh lines on your client's face. It doesn't look good. I'm using that same palette to go in and form out her chisel contour for her nose. And I'm using the second to the darkest shade in that medium dark RK by Kiss contour palette. This can be found at your local beauty supply store. Off camera, I went on and I blended out all that contour that I created. Now I'm going to bake her using my Fit Me loose powders by Maybelline. So for her highlight, I went in with this HD Flawless by Absolute Cosmetics in the shade Brightening Banana. So for her highlighted areas, I used this particular baking powder. Y'all, we was talking a lot. We was catching up. I haven't seen my cousin. This is my cousin, by the way. And I haven't seen her in forever. So we was laughing and keying and drinking and just having a good old time. To define her jawline, I went in with my Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in the color light medium. For her blush today, I'm using this Juvia's Place blush palette. This is the volume 1, I believe. This is a new palette, my first time trying it, and I absolutely love it, okay? I went in looking for one particular blush palette. I couldn't find it. This was the only one that they had, so I used this. And on top of that, I used both colors in that palette. And on top of that, I went in with my this little palette that I have in my collection. I went in with the mauve color to just bring a real natural brown on top of that rosy cheek. For my full makeup kit, for all the products in my makeup kit, you can check out my makeup kit video, my beginner makeup kit video. I have 2 parts of that, part 1 and part 2. I'll leave it up in the top of the video in the card section. To blend everything out on her face, to get rid of all that loose setting powder, I just went in with a clean powder brush and kind of just swept all that powder into the skin. And now I'm using that same damp beauty blender and pressing anything that's on top of the skin into the skin. She still looks super bright. So I'm going to go back in and deepen up her face just a little bit because I feel like I lost some things. So if you lose your contour lines or, you know, you want to go back and deepen up the face, it's okay. You can always do that. Makeup is art. Don't beat yourself up too bad. If you see something that you need to fix on your client, just go ahead and fix it. I'm going back in, deepening up her contour, her chisel. I feel like that was lost a little bit. I'm not seeing it as prominent as I wanted to, so I'm just going back in. You tell the client what to do, which way you need them to look, and they'll do it, okay? Here, I'm applying some lashes. These lashes are from Amazon. I'll leave them in the description box below. Going back in, making that blush pop. Using a all-purpose powder brush from Moda, just to blend everything out. Going back in with the Starlit palette by Profusion Cosmetics with that same color that I used on her eyeshadow, just to smudge out her waterline under her eyes. Then I'm going to go in with a white eyeliner to line her waterline, just to make the eyes pop. I don't know what it is about that white, but it just makes the eyes do what they need to do. Going in with the mascara just to make her eyelashes seamless, make her natural lash blend into the false lash. We don't want any separation there. And I did put a little bit on her lower lashes as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. Go hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. You're home. Welcome home, okay? I need you to go ahead and like this video and share it. To highlight her face, I went in with one of my highlighting palettes that is in my kit. And then on top of that highlight, I wanted it to pop a little more. So I went in with the Juvia's Place Loose Highlight Pigment in the shade Nefertiti, I believe. And I put that on top. Give yourself time to develop your skill. Be kind to yourself. I'm only telling you this because I was real hard on myself during this process. And one thing I'm learning with being a MUA is that it looks crazy at first, okay? You have to trust your process. You got to be confident in what you're doing and know that the look is going to come together as this one did. For her lip liner, I'm going in with this RK by Kiss lip liner. It can be found at your local beauty supply store. They have every color. This lip liner is very rich, very creamy. It goes on really, really flawless, and I love it. And I have it in every shade. Highly recommend it. And it only $1, maybe $1.50. Some places $2. For her lip color, I'm using this NYX Bear With Me. It can also be found at your local drugstore, local beauty supply. And on top of that, I'm going to use my Glam Shine by Kiss Cosmetics in the shade Nutty Nude. To set her face, I went in with the Milani setting spray, the original, and the matte in the Make It Last setting spray. This is the final look. If you're not following me on Instagram and Facebook, make sure you do so at TouchedByTyHairCo. Thank you guys for rocking with me. And as always, it doesn't matter how you feel, God is still worthy to be praised. Okay? This was it. This was what it was giving, okay? A way to create some content. I will see you guys next time. Touched by Ty Hair Co. out. Bye!
Yeah, you, my number one. Spotlights, big stage, 50,000 fans screaming in a rage. Bodyguards and limousines, this is the way I see you. Even let the smoke clear. I got diamonds doing till these slides in both ears. Dice rolling on the Las Vegas trip tonight. Slip that on and we might miss the fight. Fuck a night, I keep the wallet in my shorty bag. You know she wanna mine when she tattooed that ass. I'm a lover boy.